Good morning, friends. Happy Wednesday. Today is January 22nd. We're 3 weeks into a new year, and we have so much to be grateful for. I just asked in the comments for everyone to post, and we have some great comments. Yes. Ooh, someone's calling from the Arizona White Mountains. That's where Natalie's from, up in the St. John's, Eager, Springerville area. So I wonder if that's where you are too. How cool. Small world. Um, yep. So you probably know the Crosby family if you have connected there. I actually met somebody with the last name of Greer, and his family is from there too. So Greer, Arizona. Good times. Well, we are back. We're back from the Blue Prez. We're back from the Christmas break, and we're back from the Founders Retreat last week. So some of you might have tuned in, and you got to get a little sneak peek of that. And what an awesome way to fill our cups, to connect with other people, other leaders, to connect with Emily Wright. I had a really lovely chat with her. And yeah, we got to hear from Kirk Jowers, and they unveiled all of the new comp plan. So they also announced there's a podcast that you can watch with, I believe it's Justin Harrison and Isaac Wilson, and I can't remember if Michael Sterling is in that, but who's got the link to that podcast about the comp plan changes? If I had the slides, I could probably share it, but oh, I think I know where it is. So if nobody else has that, I'll see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, thank you, Christina. You beat me to it. And your link is way shorter than mine. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes it adds all these referral codes and everything. Yeah, so I think if I remember right, this is like 52 minutes. And it is Michael Sterling and Sarah Marie Smith. So it's going to be probably your best way to do a deep dive into all the changes. But let me just tell you how excited I am to be shifting money to the early builders. It's what's been needed for a long time. As many of you know, as you're building through the early ranks, elite, premier, silver, even gold, the pay is not great. And you have to have a real solid vision and a lot of just resilience to make it through and to get to any decent income. But all of that has changed. doTERRA has opened a path to earn $500 a month. That's been easier than ever. And there's also a path to $1,000 a month, which is so much more streamlined. They've removed barriers. Power of 3 is simpler to earn. And there's a base power of 3, and then there's a boost. And it's all good. I am so excited. They've even removed some barriers to rank as well. So that is especially pertinent above at platinum and above. So really excited. doTERRA is, they have paid their dues. I think, in fact, I'm going to see if I have this one slide. They showed how many hours they have spent. Here it is. Okay. So here is the effort that they went to make these comp plan upgrades. They surveyed 5,000 leaders. at corporate, they spend over 10,000 hours on all of these concepts, the modeling, the testing. And then they've also met with over 500 leaders doing one-on-ones, all the different ranks from elite to PD. They've had all the general managers very, very involved. So every market has taken a hard look at this, to say, how's this going to affect China? How's it going to affect Brazil, Russia, et cetera? And then they've also spent 100 hours with industry experts. So they also acquired a part of InfoTrax that works on comp plans. So they have left no stone unturned to get to where we are. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the nuts and bolts, but I'm just curious, has anybody here already watched that video? Or been on any webinars or Zoom calls about the comp plan changes? Because I mean, we could go there if we want to, but this is your call. So okay, cool. Brooke says they were on one yesterday. Very cool. I know Rod Richardson just hosted a retreat for his team, and they reviewed all the comp plan changes. Okay. Okay. Well, okay, let me think. If we want to go there, then I need to grab a different PowerPoint on my other computer. So give me a thumbs up if that's where you guys want to go today. You want to go over comp plan changes? Okay. All right. Okay. Give me one sec. I'll be right back. Doke. All righty. This is going to be a good little review for me too. So let's airdrop. I have Wi-Fi turned on. And then we'll share, airdrop. Okay. All right. Here we go. All righty. Okay. Yes, this is being recorded. But I'm not the comp plan expert, so there might be better recordings out there that are more polished than mine. In fact, I think doTERRA is doing a company-wide Zoom, and that'll probably be the best place to come. So I'll do my humble best, and yes, it'll be recorded. Okay, here we go. So doTERRA's compensation plan elevated. So let's hold this full screen. So the whole purpose doTERRA spent so much time and energy on this is because we feel like we may have hit a ceiling of growth with the existing comp plan, that there was, that there were barriers as people build. There were a lot of dependencies. For example, if you're a diamond and maybe 3 of your silvers have quit, you're kind of stuck. There's not a whole lot you can do. Same thing with power 3. Let's say you've spent all this time and energy and somebody is short by 2 PV. It can break your whole 1500 PV structure. Your 250, it's really, there's a lot of fragility in the compensation plan, and doTERRA knew that we have big goals. We want to triple our impact by 2030. And so to do that, we needed to rethink some of the roadblocks in the compensation plan. What are some ways that the people are getting stuck or checking out that we could easily remove? So that is that's a high-level overview. Here are the main reasons, the main objectives that they were trying to meet in upgrading the comp plan. They wanted to pay more to early active builders. They wanted to make Power of 3 more flexible. Like I was talking about, there was a lot of fragility. It didn't take much to break a Power of 3 structure. And then they also wanted to reduce leader dependency on personally enrolled team members, like I was saying with a diamond example. And then also the platinum rank has been one where it's a significant amount of effort to get from gold to platinum, but there's not a significant increase in pay. And part of that's, well, doesn't matter. That was one of the goals. And then also the earning potential, active builders versus retired builders, people who have checked out for years, they were earning about the same. And doTERRA wanted to incentivize those who are still putting in the hard work and doing stuff on a regular basis. So active builders now have a way to earn more. Just a couple cool stats. 83% of Americans would actually get involved in direct selling if they knew they could make $500 of extra income each month. Okay, that is a huge stat right there, and worth taking note of. A lot of times we just kind of cut people out and say, well, people would never do direct sales. They would never do what I do. But the fact is, 83% would if they just knew they can make $500 a month. So here are some of the cool things about all these upgrades. There's a clear pathway to 500. It's also going to drive unilevel overall. All of these things are going to just clear the path for real growth, and that's going to strengthen our unilevel. Like I said, it's going to remove barriers. Platinum is sweeter, and it makes it funner, more fun. I don't know what the correct term is, for innovation, for making new things possible. So again, just kind of a restate of a lot of these things. Yeah, you can read these. I don't need to take time to read them. I guess there's some people listening to podcasts, so I need to read these. So 1, a focus on unilevel volume to increase checks exponentially. 2, new incentive for many more builders to boost their income. 3, income shift from stacked accounts to active builders. 4, recruit more builders with a clear path to earning $500 a month. Roughly a $40 increase in the empowerment shares for premiers through golds. Increased pay to platinum and diamond ranked wellness advocates, and an ability to use deeper qualifiers through rank compression. So let's start with that last point of rank compression. There used to be this huge dependency. If a diamond had 4 silvers and then 3 of them quit, you were kind of up a creek. Even if there was massive growth down beneath those silvers, sometimes there were games we played to get enroller, and a lot of times feelings were hurt and people got even more checked out. So cool thing, I think this is the coolest thing, is rank compression. And what this means is once you get to platinum, then you don't have to have the enrollership on your qualifiers. So let's say you've got a silver that's 5 levels down, 3 levels down, and somebody else is enroller of them. As long as they're inside of your enroller tree, you can count them for your rank. So I think we've got some cool examples here because that's what makes it more clear, right? So we're talking about Jessica, who's a gold. And as a gold, she has the enroller of these, let's see, we're talking about the 3. Okay. Does it use the same one? Okay. So in this example, she is able to work with Henry and Sarah, obviously, but then she could work with Molly or Ellie, who are deeper down in her organization, even if she's not the enroller of them. So as long as she's the enroller of the person above them, like, so do you guys understand enroller tree? Yes, no? Basically, if somebody above Jessica had placed Molly in her team, then Jessica couldn't work with Molly as a qualifier. But if Jessica is the enroller of Lacey, or even if Jessica was the enroller of Molly, and then Jessica could work with Ellie as well, because that's inside of her enroller tree. So that's the really, really cool breakthrough for me, is we can now work with those who want to work, and we're not forced to work with certain people. So here's an example of somebody not being in an enroller tree. So Jessica enrolled Henry, Sarah, and Lacey, but she didn't enroll Rachel. It says that Crystal was enrolled by her upline. And so that is not a possibility with rank compression. It needs to be within your enroller tree. So like we talked about earlier, all these people are in her enroller tree, like Lacey, Molly, Ellie, but not this leg here. So that's how that works. Okay. So here are the key points. It's available to anyone once you're platinum or above. They're going to see how this goes. If everything goes well and it doesn't dilute the pools, they might move it down to gold. As you know, rank compression already applies to elites because there's no structure requirements, and premiers because you still have to have 2 legs of 2,000, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think you guys get that. So the same qualifier can be used by multiple wellness advocates at the same time. So if I've got a silver 5 levels down, and I'm the enroller of the person on my front line above them, then me and my frontline person can both use them as a qualifier. So really, really cool what doTERRA's done in removing this barrier. This has been a really, really big barrier for a long time. So this helps leaders stabilize their ranks, helps them find and support the highest potential builders. So this, the magic of network marketing is you work through your warm network, but then you get access to their warm markets. And that's how we leapfrog from warm market to warm market. And so you don't have to rely on just the people that you found. Now you can go work with people in depth and create really, really cool partnerships that can serve both of you. So there's no restrictions now. It gives up and coming silvers and golds more qualifying options for a platinum. And it takes away a lot of the potential relationship issues, and eliminates the need for all the enroller transactions. In the past, people have bought and sold enrollership, and there's been a lot of bad feelings. Humans, adulting is hard, and being human is anyways, there tends to be breakdown in a lot of relationships over time. It allows leaders to work together to develop builders, since they can qualify using the same person. It reduces the need for top leader buy-in, and it gives up-and-coming builders incentive to work hard to become your qualifier. And so it gives you freedom to choose who you want to work with. So it allows you to work where you're deserved, not needed. doTERRA pays out 48% of their commissionable volume, and they are committed to that. They always have, and they always will pay out 48%. So here's an update on Unilevel. Currently, we pay out on average $7 to $10 for every wellness advocate based on their frontline people. So this is just Unilevel. right, in level. But with the new compensation plan, you can now earn up to $50 or $100 just on your first level. And that's through the power of three. So basically, we're taking the smaller checks and we're making it possible to earn way more. It's really cool. So this level here is now being shifted to power of three, where you can earn more. So because these checks were so small and insignificant to so many people, this was a real opportunity to make it, to incentivize good behavior in the right places. So level one is now getting shifted elsewhere in the compensation plan. And that applies to all ranks. So level one is moving to power of three. So currently there's a part of the compensation plan that they've actually never enforced. It requires that you personally enroll one person every quarter to earn the two deepest levels of the yin level. But with the new compensation plan, the elevated compensation plan, they're going to create a new metric, and it's called team growth volume. And that's now how you access these deeper levels of yin level. So it's a new metric, and I know this sounds weird at first, but it's really not that. It's really exciting to me. So what is the growth metric for yin level? Elite to gold ranks can maximize yin level earnings as they work with their teams. Team growth volume is based on all volume in the current month coming from team members who enrolled or reactivated in the previous 12 months. Okay, again, that's a bunch of words, can seem confusing, so let's break it down. So here is a chart of just a dummy organization, and all of the volume in the current month that's coming from any team members who have enrolled or reactivated in the previous 12 months. So we've got Anna, Bella, Cassie, etc. And here's the, all of them are within the 7 physical levels, right? So that's how this metric is determined, is it looks within your 7 physical levels of sponsorship. And then it says, what did they order this month? Okay. So in October, we had these orders from each of them. And so the total volume, the team growth volume came to 725. This month, it was 800. And this month, in December, it was 875. So this is going to be a metric that'll be showed in your back office. It'll be really prominent and easy to read. So it won't be spreadsheets and guesswork to figure out what your team growth number is. It'll be really easy to see. And this particular metric is it LRP volume? Let's see if we can see from the next couple slides. Great question. So team growth volume, TGV, helps you maximize your payouts at each different rank. So to get paid at these, to max out the unilevel, you need to have 300 team growth as elite, 400 as premier, 500 as silver, and 600 as gold. So some of the details on this, if you're elite, at least 100 of the 300 must be personally enrolled. Sometimes you have an elite that's just an accidental elite. You know, they had someone placed under them and that person took off and exploded. doTERRA really wants to compensate those who are doing the most good and moving the needle for the company. So that's the only little fine print on that one. Okay, we also talked about how the empowerment pool is growing. So the qualification rules remain the same, but doTERRA is taking 0.25% and adding it to the pool. So it used to be 1.25%, now it's 1.5%. And so anybody who's been getting the empowerment pool automatically just got a pay raise. And so that share used to hover around $160 a month, and now it'll be around 200. They actually did some calculations and it came out at 219. So it was actually better, but doTERRA likes to underpromise and overdeliver. So super cool what's happening there. The Diamond Performance Pool, we're actually redefining. And so it's going to be renamed as the Performance Pool because Platinums are now part of the Diamond Performance Pool. So Platinums get to participate. And they've added 0.5% to this pool. So it used to be 1%, now it's 1.5%. So earning the maximum shares will be determined by a new growth metric that is based on your performance rank. So we'll talk more about that later. So Platinums also just got a huge pay raise. Those who meet their growth requirement will earn an additional $1,000 per month or more because of these changes, which I am so grateful that we finally figured out this platinum problem because it's been an issue for a long time. A lot of people, if they're gold, they just skip platinum and go to diamond, or if they're diamond and they fall back, they usually fall back to gold because it hasn't been worth the effort to get to platinum. So let's talk about how these pools are going to work now. So in the past, if you're a platinum, there was a set number of shares that you would get. Now, with this new team growth metric, if you don't hit that growth metric and you're platinum, you'll get 1 share, but if you do hit it, you'll get 3 shares. At diamond, if you're below that metric, you'll get 2. If you do hit the metric, you'll get 4 shares. And blue diamond, if you don't hit it, it's 2. If you do hit it, it's 5. Presidential diamond, if you don't hit the growth metric, you're 2. If you do hit it, you're 6. So that's where this 1.5% is going. It's going to people who are growing their teams. doTERRA has to choose where compensation goes, and and we've seen this with lots of companies who had retirement packages that were too rich. There's a point where it's not sustainable. And so doTERRA has found that they can actually create more growth and make the tide rises for everyone, and all ships will rise. And so this is a fantastic thing that will help. I think it's just going to generate so much excitement and so much growth. It's great. I'm super excited. So the team growth volume focuses your builders on the most important activities for growing their pay and yours. This is what helps everyone earn more. So I mentioned the survey that doTERRA did. I think it was 5,000 leaders surveyed. And if you could change the question was, if you could adjust one thing about the compensation plan, what would it be? And the top response by far was early earnings. The second thing was power of 3. The third thing was platinum earnings. And then the next one was what we call blessed accounts or blockers, or some people call them, oh shoot, what's the name they use? It's like, anyways, I'll think of it later. The next thing they asked for was rank flexibility. And then can we get more PV, balance out the PV to price ratio. So here are just some samples of the responses people gave in the survey. Okay, you can read through these. It's really just in people's words what we just saw in the survey. So they did a little research on how much early active builders earn their first year. And they charted it out month by month. And so you can see, and this is the average, right, across the company. So you can see that most early active builders, they're making maybe 125 the first month, 198 the second month, 268, and then it kind of plateaus. Whoops. Can I go back? Oh, shoot. Here we go. You see that earning plateaus and never really gets above 300. It hovers right there around 300. And I don't know about you, but if I'm actively building and I'm hitting, like I'm the team is growing, that's not great income. That doesn't hold a candle to what I could earn if I go out and drive Uber or Uber Eats or, there's so many other side hustles. And so thanks to these new comp plan upgrades, there's now a path to easily get to 500 and well beyond as an early active builder. So this is how. It's through power of three. Yes, Jacqueline, squatters. That was the name I was looking for. So when we were talking about the blessed or blocked accounts, squatters is the word I was looking for. Thank you, Jacqueline. You read my mind. Okay, so power of three is now focused on all rewards orders instead of specific orderers. So the magic number that doTERRA's use is 100, right? You got to have your pods with the 3 qualifying orders of 100 PV. And it's great, right? It helps drive volume, but sometimes you get people who just need 95 PV. And it's so weird to get on the phone and call them and say, hey, can I order a lemon on your account? Or wouldn't you like a lip balm? And so that is now going away. So basically, Power 3 is moving to just looking at your front line and adding up all of the rewards orders, regardless of whether a certain number hit 100 PV or not. So it's so cool. I'm so excited. So now all of those LRP orders that are 10 PV and 25 and 45 PV, all of that counts now. It all counts towards your power of three. So let's take a look at some of the new terminology and the breakdown of how this works. So this is you, and let's say you've got 4 people on your front line. As long as your front line adds up to 500, then you've earned your level 1 bonus of $50. That's simple. So it could be 5 people, it could be 10 people, it could be 25 people. Hopefully you don't have 25 on your front line. But it's now based on just this team, and we're calling that a pod. So keep this image in your mind, because this is how all the other levels are created, is based on this definition of a pod, okay? So your level 2 bonus is based on if you have 3 pods, again, on your second level. So they have to be on 3 physically separate legs. And now you've qualified for your level 2 250 bonus. So here's the cool thing. In the past, you had to like these people, the 3 that are on top of these pods, they had to have 100 PV orders, but that's not the case anymore. You can earn your 250 without them putting in their 100 PV orders. So we're talking about your bonuses, right? Not theirs. For you to get your bonus, these people cannot block you. And then the same thing is true on level 3. These people and these people can't block you from earning yours. So that is so stinking cool. I know that some of you on this call probably have had situations where relationships break down, and people intentionally want to block your power of 3. And so it's they can't do that anymore. You're free to perform. If you're the one who's bringing in lots of volume, you're going to get compensated, and they can't block you. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so level 3 bonus, they had to adjust it down from 1,500 to 1,250 just to make this whole thing sustainable. And what you're going to see is there's a way to boost so you can earn beyond 1,500. It's really, really cool. But for this part, the focus is, this is what we call the base power of 3. And then in a minute, we'll go into the boost. So, and there are some mistakes on these slides, and I think that's part of why they're not in the DMK. Somebody asked in there. So it says here that if you help 3 people on your front line earn their 50, then you get your 250, but that's not actually true, because you could have all these structures in place and these people are not earning their 50 and you'd still get your 250. So that languaging is not accurate, but it's a nice way to teach the principle, right? Because obviously if you're building out a team, you don't want to do all the work yourself. So this is put here as a nice way to teach it, but it's technically not accurate. So same thing is true of the level 3. You know, it says help 3 people earn their 250, but again, that's not technically accurate. You can earn your 1250 without these 3 earning their 250. So does that make sense? Okay. So Power of 3 is actually something that lots of other companies have tried to copy, and it wasn't sustainable. So there was one company, their top, they max out at 800. That's the highest they pay. The company B pays out 1125, and there's some other limitations they put in around CV. And then there's another company that tried the 1500, but they discontinued it because it wasn't sustainable. So what we're doing with these changes, we're making Power of 3 forever green. We're making it sustainable so that we can grow to any amount and make it sustainable. So Karina asks, are we focusing on volume more throughout the 3 levels? Well, Power of 3 has always been focused on the volume that's within your 3 levels, so that's not really a change per se. We are, though, focusing on just creating lots of lifestyle loyalty customers, you know, who love the product and use it, and it doesn't matter if they're 99 PV or 101 PV. It's all good. All volume is good volume. So that's the shift. So in the past, with Power of 3, you've needed specific customers to always order 100 PV. That's now gone. So you don't need others to earn their Power of 3 levels for you to qualify. So there's been some bad blood too. When I'm trying to earn my 1500 and I'm propping up lots of people earning their 250 and 50, sometimes I start to have a bad feeling like, well, I'm doing all this work and I'm forcing them to earn money that they haven't earned. And so that's all gone now. So it's so cool. You guys, I'm so excited. This is like, this is revolutionary. So basically we can focus our wellness consults on what the customer needs instead of what I need to hit my Power 3 bonuses. So it takes away a lot of that weirdness of like, yeah, you could order 90, but I'd really like it if you ordered 100 or 150, you know, so I don't have to have as many people. So anyways, it's really great. It's okay. So here we have just another chart showing the same thing. The people in green contribute volume, but they're not necessarily part of a Power of 3 structure. So that's great. Okay. So now part of the messaging around Power of 3 is it's easier than ever to earn that first level, you know, of $100 by earning the $50 base and then the $50 boost, so that people can get their product for free. And it's easier than ever to show a path to earn $500 a month by duplicating what you do. So there's a new metric, and this is for the boost, okay? So we've talked about the base, now we're going into the boost. This is how to earn that extra from Power of 3. And there's a new metric that they're using. Again, this is all focused around growth. And this new metric is called personal growth volume, or PGV. So what they do is they take the total amount of rewards volume in the current month from personally enrolled members who enrolled in the previous 12 months. So let's say this new member enrolled in October, and they didn't order in the month of October. So that volume, I think that's what it's showing, is not counted because this metric is for the previous 12 months. But all these 4 others, they did order in the last 12 months. And so each of those would count in the months that they ordered. So let's say, yeah, so in this example, Scott did 120, Ryan did 80, Lily did 100, and Jane did 125. And so in their November month, that's how much they ordered. And so your personal growth volume metric for that month of November is 425. So we've added up the new members' volume in November, and that volume added up to 425. So that's how we get this new metric called personal growth volume. This one is just rewards volume, okay? So it's adding up their rewards orders. It's not counting their enrollment orders. So that's how we get to personal growth volume. So again, we have an example where we take, and these are people that you have enrollership of, okay? So let's say you've built out most of your Power 3 1500. You're going to be in a great place if you've been still enrolling and building because you've got enrollership on them, and that's how this number is determined. It's the people that you have enroller of. So let's say you've got these people, and this is how much they order in October. Your PGV number is 825, November 800, and December 875. So with this new metric of PGV, let's see what you can create. You can double your 50 or you can double your 250 if you hit your metrics, okay? So here's how it works. If you have your level 1 base, and then you have 400 as a PGV, then you can earn an extra 50. So now your total Power 3 earnings is $100. So that's how they're reallocating what we were talking about earlier from the yin level. This is where it shows up now. Let's say you hit your level 2 base, and then your personal growth volume metric is 800. Now you just doubled that and you earned 500. So super, super cool. And this is applicable in the US and Canada. It's going to be slightly different in each market. Let's see, can I remember what this chart is showing? I think it's just another way of showing the same thing. So basically you have, if you earn level 1, then regardless of what your PGV number is, you can earn another 50. So this column shows your base. This column shows your boost. If you hit your level 2, you can earn 50 with 400, or you can earn 250 with 800 or more. And then if you earn your level 3 base, then you could get the 50 boost with 400, the 250 boost with 800, or the 500 boost with 1200 as your PGV number. So that brings your total earnings potential up to 1750 in Power 3. So before we were capped at 1500, now you can earn up to 1750, which is so cool. Like, it makes those early builders that much more incentivized to build and to build right. It's so exciting. So we are getting low on time, and I want to make sure we have time for questions. So this is the number one, the earnings to early active builders. This refers to fast starts. Number two is referring to these power of three opportunities and options. So here's just a couple of examples of like how earnings could look. And these are actually from Justin Harrison. So he said, if you purchased your foundational wellness bundle in month one, and then you shared with 4 people, each buying the foundational wellness bundle, and then you make sure they all get on the rewards program, then month one, you earn $100. Okay, that's fast start money. Month two, their rewards orders process. Oh, sorry. And then you help 3 of your 4 members share with 4. And so now they each earn $100. And you again enroll 4 more people. And again, you help everyone get onto the rewards program. Then your earnings go to $450 for month 2. Okay. Now month 3, everyone's rewards orders process. And again, you share with 4 more people. You've earned $850 by month 3. Now, obviously, this is a best case scenario, right? Everyone doing their enrollments and getting their rewards orders going. But you can see it doesn't take a crazy size of a team to generate really meaningful income. $850 is game changing for most households. So super, super cool. And how much volume did that create? 3125. So what does that make you? Elite. So this is one duplication model for earning $850 by month 3 and becoming elite in the process. So here's another presentation that Kyle Kirschbaum put together. And his question was, would you be open to learning how you could make an extra $500 to $2,000 a month in the next 90 days? And this is how. He calls it 5 at 125. So again, the emphasis is the foundational wellness program. And so if month 1, you got 5, so ignore this bottom half because this is like a plan B. So let's say you get 5 enrollments all at 125. And so that's going to generate $125 from the fast starts. And then you teach 5 to do the same. But we're going to try to be more realistic and say only 3 really do it. Okay. So month 1, you get $125. And let's ignore the bottom for now. Month 2, let's say you get 5 new enrollments, again at 125. And then you also get the past 5, the 5 you enrolled last month, they process their order of the foundational wellness on LRP at 125. So now let's also assume that that you invited all 5, but 3 actually did enroll 5. Now that generates $187.50 in fast starts for you. And because of the LRPs that processed, you made your Power 3 level 1 base and the boost of 100. So now you earned 537 and you're elite by month 2. Okay. So again, this is, makes a lot of assumptions, but it's pretty cool how realistically someone could become elite by month 2 and make 537. Month 3, your 5 personal enrollments reorder, your 3 enroll 5, and then their 3 enroll 5. So now you've generated these fast starts. The second second level Power of 3 boost kicks in. So now you're at 500 there. Your silver bonus is 350, and you have 3 elite yourself. So now you're getting extra shares of elite, which is 450. So now by month 3, you're silver and your earnings are 1,893. So super, super cool what's possible. Thank you, Kyle, for putting this together. You keep rolling with this month 4. If this keeps duplicating, right? the 5 at 125, and then 3 in roll 5. So that's the duplication model. Then this is what's possible. Total earnings of 2,437. So super, super cool. Let's take a couple questions. Mary is saying, do we still receive fast starts for the first 60 days of new enrollment? Yes. Yep, fast starts has not changed. Okay, Rhea is raising her hand. And then let's see if we can find Rhea. Oh, she put her hand down, so maybe that wasn't to ask a question. Okay. Tony says, are they considered new volume for their first year? Yes. So both of these metrics, we're looking at the team growth volume for Power 3. We're adding up their loyalty volume for their first year. Yep. Great question. Okay. Wow. I've been talking so much. Kathy asks, well, first somebody says, can you earn Power of 3 and Fast Start? Of course. Yeah, it's not one or the other. We've always been able to earn both, and you can still earn both. So yeah, it's not an either or situation. Kathy is asking, is there anything we can do about squatters? The cool thing about this comp plan is that all these upgrades is you don't have to worry about them. They can't block you anymore, and their earnings will go down. And so basically now doTERRA is playing the heavy. And if they, once their earnings go down, they can choose. They can become engaged and build and increase their check, or they can just, hover at the lower check. So that's what's cool. Okay. Amy says, so 500 instead of 600 and still need 300 minimum rewards orders, but don't have to be 100. You're talking about the Power of 3. So the cool thing is you still need to have your 100 PV order to earn your Power 3 check. And then you have your pod that needs to have 500 in LRP volume. So the pod needs to be 500 and you need to have your 100. So technically there's 600 that's required, but they don't add it all together. It's not like if you have 150, you only need, 450. You still need the pod of 500. Does that make sense? So that's why we're focusing on the pods. And then your other question, do you still need 3 minimum rewards orders that don't need to be 100? No. You could have one person on your front line place an LRP order of 500, and that would count. So we should all be jumping up and down and shouting hallelujah, because it just got a lot simpler and the path became so much more clear. Okay, we've got a lot of questions. I can tell I'm not gonna be able to get to all of them. So does PGV apply to reactivated members too? Yes, Melanie, personal growth volume, they did factor in reactivations. And that was the feedback we gave them at the Blue and Prez Summit. We're like, well, what about reactivations? Are they chopped liver? So that's really cool. Elizabeth, no, your volume does not count in the 500. The 500 is just your front line. Okay. So that's one of the big shifts. And it's going to take a minute for us to get used to that concept. It's just your physical front line. Okay. The people on your frontline sponsor tree. Okay. Laura, can we get the presentation URL? I don't have permission to share this PowerPoint, but corporate will be doing their Zoom, and I assume they'll be putting this presentation in the DMK. So that's at doTERRA.com/DMK. How does this impact having a placeholder on your front line? Well, good question, Layla. I guess it just, I mean, there's, yeah, I can't really think. If you want to come on, we could try to answer that question. Um, but it shouldn't, it shouldn't be a plus or a minus, the placeholder thing. Um, there's more options of what you can do with a placeholder, but I'm not saying that placeholder is the way to build. I'm just saying you've got options now. So do you want to go into detail on what it is you're working with? And
I think that makes sense. I just, being a young builder, I kept having everybody on my front line, and I haven't gotten a builder that has then really started on their own. So having a placeholder that isn't necessarily active as the business, but in a sense, from what I'm understanding, yes, they are placing their LRP, so they are loving the product, but they're just not wanting to actively share. But it does enable me to be able to put my new enrollments underneath to start building my structure. So, but from what I'm understanding, because if any enrollments that I have does support that overall
Mhm.
volume. So in a
Totally.
sense, it, I think it doesn't necessarily impact. And I mean, I'm hoping that a couple of my
Yeah,
bills can step into that place, but at the
sure.
moment, that's not my reality. But I am so grateful because it
Yeah,
it really is hard. It's hard being, not seeing the monetary the amount of work that I'm doing,
yeah.
not really seeing that for this time. So it does make that mindset of like, wait, why am I doing this again? This is
I
a
know,
lot
right?
of noise. And I'm not,
It's
I can see the projection of it. And so I am grateful for at least that acknowledgement that it does support the process of being able to bring a real builder on that.
yeah,
And since I don't have the proof of like, oh yes, I'm making tons, it's all good. It's like,
right.
no, actually, I'm not.
Yeah.
And um, so
I think
yeah,
you're going to see, I think you're going to see an immediate boost in your check from these changes. And anybody who's been sharing on your team, even just like baby sharers, they're going to see an increased reward as well.
yeah.
So I think what we're all going to find is those who are active are going to be more rewarded for all the sharing that we're doing. And it's just, yeah, like I said, my vision is the whole ocean will rise, the tide rises, and so all ships will rise with it. So
And I suppose the only other aspect, which I know we're at time, in terms of I was really trying to work of getting people off of my front line, but it sounds like I really want to make sure I still have 500 active LRP orderers on my front line, so not necessarily moving them under another leg. Is that
yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. You do want to have 500 LRP on your front line, um, and and so there's multiple ways to do that. You can have less orders that are higher, or you can have more orders that are lower.
Yeah,
Um, so it's cool that we have those options. Um, there's just no right or wrong way to do it.
right.
Um,
As long as your legs, that the person at the top of your leg that's on your front line, as long as they're ordering their 100 PV, that counts as, one or two or however many that
right.
up. But I see that that impacts for folks that dropped out and they're not placing their 100 PV and they're on that frontline position that could really impact the way you're trying to build your structure. Yeah,
Right.
that is really, really very supportive for doTERRA
Yeah.
to reward those that are really working the business and enrolling
Yep.
actively and trying their best. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Layla. I'm so excited for you, for your team, for all of our teams. It's all good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Jones says, for clarification, if my front line was only 300 total LRP and I order 300, that would not earn power 3. Is that correct? Yes, you're correct. That would not qualify because, again, the pod requirement is 500. So your front line needs to add up to 500. Okay, Tony, yes, we all just need to find lots of builders who want to even just hit 500. I mean, how hard is it to find someone who wants to earn an extra $500 a month? Based on the survey, 83% of Americans. So, okay, Marianne is saying it looks like if we leave our account to a beneficiary, so let's say, it's in our will and it goes to our children, they wouldn't earn very long. That I would argue that that's not true. I would say that in the past, our ranks have been more fragile than they will be with these changes. And so I believe that the comp plan is actually more has more potential for long-term income. So in my case, I have tons of people, leaders at depth. And so if my front line didn't qualify anymore, I could count somebody deeper in my team, and so I'd still get good compensation. And so let's say everybody in the whole company, retired from building. Would that be a big asset to will to our children? No, obviously. That as long as there's still some activity, there will be income. The biggest hit that I've seen, this is somebody like, I think they're a presidential diamond. They haven't built anything in like 10 years. And if they were to, with the new comp plan changes, I think they would lose like 6% of their check. And so, yeah, if they don't do anything, then there is a 6% decrease for them. But most people, I think this is not a huge hit on their check. It would continue to produce for years. In fact, I have some silver teams that the silver leader checked out 9 years ago, and their leg still has like 3,000 in volume, like 9 years later, which is insane. I don't know any other company that has the kind of retention we do. Okay, Melanie says, are reactivated members part of our PGV? Let me see if I can find that slide. Yes, they are. Okay. Joan says, seems like this may encourage beginning people to go more with a flat front line rather than deep. Well, that's actually why we are putting a lot of focus on Power 3, because Power 3 encourages depth. You max out your earnings from your front level pretty quick. 500 PV is ideally not too many people. Maybe, I don't know, 4 to 7. And so we're hoping that people continue to follow the same structure that we've always been teaching. The handful of highly qualified builders on your front line, less motivated builders on your second line, and then shares and customers below that. So we hope that it encourages the right behavior that's always been taught. Okay, somebody asked, when does all this go into place? Let me share the slide that they shared at the Blue Press Summit. So they have started rolling out the plan in terms of like teaching the changes in January, as per this slide. And then this first quarter, they'll be rolling out the tools so that we can be tracking all these metrics. And so they're hoping that by April, we can start seeing a lot of these, like team growth volume, personal growth volume, et cetera. But they're hoping that sometime, April, May, June is when they actually start paying out these new, like the Power 3 Boost and things like that. So these are all rough timelines. Notice they're using dotted lines, but we hope that they start rolling some of these things out, at least in North America, in May or June. And then I believe that everything, I think they said that January of 26 is when everything for sure rolls out. I think there's going to be like a grace period for some of these things. Like if people are earning Power 3 by the old rules, there's like a grace period. But then January of 26 is when it goes to the new rules 100%. So that's my understanding. Okay. Looking for new questions if we have just a minute. Okay. All right. Well, yes. So my understanding, Amy, is until you can boost to over 1500, you can keep earning your current 1500. So, and yeah, that's my understanding. Okay. So Marianne is asking, would the beneficiary be similar to a squatter? Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No. I think you're asking. So when she asked that question about beneficiary, she was saying like, if I die and I put my doTERRA position in my will, the person who gets that asset, they're the beneficiary. And so, I'm hoping that they're not squatters, but by definition, no, she's not. That's not what she means by beneficiary. She just means the person receiving that asset. Okay, Ruth. If you have an account manager, I would reach out to them because they'll be able to look at your back office and steer you right. I could make guesses, but let's start with your account manager, and if you don't have one, then reach out to us. So my email is andy@sharesuccess.com. Ruth, if you have specific questions. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for going the distance. I know this was a fire hose today, and you've all been so patient, but I hope you feel the excitement that I have and everybody at the Founders Retreat had. There's so much potential with these little tweaks. They're subtle, but I think they're going to add up to a massive just shift towards a more incentivized field, a more aligned field. For a lot of the issues with the old comp plan is it didn't feel like the field was aligned with corporate, because it seemed like they wanted us to only have specific volume from specific people, at specific times. But now it's more aligned. So thank you all so much. It's so awesome to be with you, and this is how we're going to triple our impact. So blessings to you all. Have a great week.